What is up, beautiful people? So I got something awesome for you guys today. We're gonna go visit a sunken sailboat and a gorgeous old lighthouse off the coast of Miami. It's gonna be dope. Stick along. Just like all of these boating adventures, it starts with a ton of prep and a quick trip to the marina. Here's a little something I like to call boat surfing. Now, I don't recommend everyone to try this, but it's a ton of fun. All you gotta do is hook a rope up to the front of the boat and you can lean back. It feels like you're wakeboarding on the whole boat. It's a ton of fun. Thankfully, this water was pretty smooth, but it can get pretty intense when the seas are rocky. We've just arrived at our first destination, and you'll notice we're doing something a little different here. We're not throwing the anchor, and that's because this is a preserved national park, so if we threw the anchor down, we can potentially damage or harm the ecosystem. So we're latching our boat onto these preset anchor ropes. So we've just arrived at Mandalay National Park. There's this massive sunken sailboat down here. Let's go check it out. This massive 100-foot sailboat was built back in the 1920s during World War II by the military, and it was used to patrol the coastline for German U-boats. That was until 1957 when it was purchased by a cruise line and it was refitted as a luxury yacht. But one day, about 10 years later, the young captain made a fateful navigation error and ran the ship aground with 23 people on board. All 23 passengers and 12 crewmen were rescued by the Coast Guard via helicopter. But not long after, word got out about the wreck and scavengers came to raid absolutely everything valuable off the ship. Here you can see what the boat looked like in its glory days. And it's pretty scary to think about what these people went through when the boat sank. And even though I hate to see human waste in the ocean, it's pretty nice to see the way that Mother Nature has reclaimed these resources and the fish are now using it as a home. And even better yet, it's now a national park, so fishing isn't allowed here. And that way the ecosystem can strive. I mean, just look at the incredible level of diversity there is here. There's so many different species of fish and beautiful colors to take in. I'm gonna stay quiet for a little while so you guys can appreciate this. And there were tons of jellyfish everywhere. I don't know about you guys, but jellyfish are some of the most interesting creatures on the planet for me. They survive without brains or hearts or stomachs, and most of them don't even have eyes. They are made up of 95% water, and they're actually closer relatives to coral than they are to people or any other animal. Most people may not know this, but you can actually touch jellyfish without getting hurt or stung, as long as you touch them on the tops and don't touch the tentacles. Now when the tentacles sting you, it's not an electricity thing, it's actually venom they're injecting. They have these very sharp and tiny pricks on each one of their tentacles that inject into your skin. Let's go explore the next spot and see what we find. We were in such a rush to get to the next spot that we almost missed something amazing right in front of us. My intuition tells me that these dolphins might have been mating, and that's because usually when I'm on a boat and dolphins are nearby, they're pretty curious animals. They'll usually come up to the boat and even ride the front wake of the boat. But in this case, they were staying in really tight groups and trying to stay away from us.
I just got him! Woo! I just got him!
I couldn't help myself. I just had to jump in and get a nice shot for you guys. Here we're approaching our next destination. This place is called the Fowey Rocks Lighthouse. It's spelled like Fowey, it's kind of weird. But this thing was built in 1870 and it's still in operation today. Now if you notice, there's a very conveniently placed platform here to the side. You guys know I have to climb and jump off that, right? Speaking of conveniently placed platforms, there was also a conveniently placed rope to help us climb up. Thanks to whoever put that here. And just like all jumps, you can never appreciate how tall it is until you get to the very top and you're staring down. And then of course, my buddy had to one-up me by hitting this awesome front flip. I wasn't gonna hit a backflip, so I just decided to dive, which was honestly just as scary for me. It's hard to tell from the shot, but I actually lost my Apple Watch here. I guess the force of the water hitting my hand from the dive unhinged the watch from my wrist, and I didn't notice until it was too late to go back. Okay, that's enough diving. Now I want to take some time to explore to see what kind of wildlife we can find in this area. And boy, let me tell you, there was no shortage of fish. If you thought the last place was amazing, just check this out. You just have to love all these spectacular colors on these fish. And even the plant life had some great colors. Look at these beautiful purples on these plants. This fish right here is called a parrotfish, and at first I thought it was because of their interesting variety of colors, but it's actually because they have beak-like mouths because they feed off the coral. Just as I was appreciating this huge school of fish, another species came to surprise me. I've had the privilege of petting stingrays in aquariums, and they have such a smooth, slimy texture, it's so interesting. Take a look here at the way they kick up the sand and cover their bodies, but their eyes are still poking out. This is actually the way they hunt. Now let's move on to another location and see what else we can find. Continuing our theme of old lighthouses, we pulled up into a place called Boca Chica we've been to a bunch of times. But this time there was these random guys playing with the manatee, and I had no idea these guys would be so friendly. I mean, look at this guy turning around to get belly rubs. This is crazy. It looks like he's really used to coming to this spot, or he's just used to people being around him in general. I knew manatees were pretty chill animals, but I had no idea that they were this friendly. He's kind of like a dog, he loves the head scratches and the belly rubs. I kid you not, I was actually prompting him to turn around, and he would literally turn around on command. It was the craziest thing. Here you can see I grab him by the fin and I actually pull him back up to the surface because I was pushing him down. And he was totally okay with that, it was so crazy. I was so tempted to get in the water with him and give him a big hug, but I didn't want to scare him away. Oh, and he looked like he loved that cold, fresh water straight out of the cooler. Just listen to this, you can tell I was totally psyched out.
Look at his mouth. It's so weird. It's so weird, his mouth. Look here. I'm freaking out. This is so cool.
Then we started spraying him with a hose, and he loved that too. It was the funniest thing. This was supposed to be the last stop on our little adventure, and I'm so glad we came here because I wasn't expecting this, and I've never had this kind of interaction with a manatee before.
Alright, I gotta say, that's definitely a first for me. That was awesome. You see how friendly he was? When we told him to turn around, he turned around like on cue. That's so weird. So cool. We weren't even supposed to come here. I'm so glad we did. Like, you never know what you're gonna come across like on these adventures.
Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing because I've got more great content like this to come. I would really appreciate it.